Hey everyone, it's Jim Hudson bringing you your weekly on-the-spot web fishing update. Anyways, good deal here now. We got some new ice to work with. People are starting to get out lake trout fishing, moving around, so everyone's not so crowded around into the bay itself and near Washburn. So let's work into ice conditions first, starting down at the head of the bay over to Washburn, looking at 15 to 20 inches ice, pretty good um, ice conditions. A lot of people traveling by vehicle. There was a vehicle that went through last week, so some caution needs to be used, especially around the break wall, or dock, anything sticking out into the lake or anything sticking up from the lake. Always has current around there, even though you got a lot of ice. It's still can be pretty treacherous out there, so use a lot of caution when you're traveling, especially by any mode of transportation, even walking. Um, just use some good common sense and check ice conditions and stay away from them bad spots. From there, from Washburn up to Houghton Point, you're looking at a foot of ice, and that goes from Houghton Point over to Long Island. As you turn the corner, then you get down by the Sioux, then you're looking at about 8 inches down to the Onion itself, and that works up a little ways towards Van Tassel's Point. Then from there, that's new ice, and that new ice stretches out over the deeper water from the Onion out to the South Channel, over to Grants Point on Madeline, and back towards Bayfield, all the way to Bayfield. And that ice right now is 3 to 6 inches, pretty variable. Um, check it a lot if you're going to be out there. Uh, just use extreme caution on that. And then you go from north of Bayfield a little bit up to Red Cliff and to Red Cliff Point to the north end of Basswood, and this north of Bayfield over to about the middle portion of Madeline Island, right about by the ice road, just north of the ice road entrance. That ice is anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. It wraps around to on the east side of Basswood about halfway and stretches across over to the middle portion of Madeline as well. And everything on that from that is all new ice into the islands, and we do have quite a bit of ice out there. And there's some new ice stretching from the north end of Basswood to Hermit, and then up to the north end of Madeline. And right now you're looking at two to 2 to 3 to 4 inches somewhere in there. It could have made some more ice last night, we are going to get a little warm. So uh, just use caution. There'll probably be some people checking it out, but I'd give it a few more days before I travel out there. So got some good ice going. Lake trout fishing should be, you know, really ramping up here and going full swing starting this weekend. There has been people out lake trout fishing, been pretty slow. Looks like we're gonna have to get into some deeper water for some better fishing. Um, and with that, I want to talk a little bit about lake trout fishing and some of the, you know, lures I like to use, and lures that can be found around here, when you do come up here. And a lot of you, when you do fish with me through my guide service, you'll see this, see how I use all this stuff. So let's talk about that medium depth or slack current times. Um, Medium depth, I'm talking about 100 feet to about 150 feet, and times even in deep water when you have little to no current. When you have little to no current, you really want to downsize. And when I'm in shallower water, a lot of times I like to use smaller lures too. So I'm talking about 3/4 ounce size um, lures to about an ounce. Here you have the Northland Buckshot. Works really good. You can tip it with a minnow head or a piece of a smelt or a piece of a herring. Works pretty good. Usually, um, I upsize the hook to about a number two, triple X type of triple strong hook. Just because you are playing these fish for a long time, it takes a while to get up, and they pull pretty hard. Also, another really good lure that I've been using is it's called the FinTech Zonar. It's 3/4 ounce. It was made for river fishing. You can see how the jig is cut like that. It cuts the current really well, and it sits really nice, sits high, and it's a really good bait for finicky fish because you don't have to move it. A lot of times, all I tip them with is I just use 4-inch gulp minnows. This is pearl silver is my mainstay. I also use some of the 5-inch jerk shads. Those work pretty good too, but that 4-inch minnow works really well with that Zonar jig. Going from there, then we're talking about heavy, bigger currents. You get that 20-degree pull in your line out into the deeper water. I always carry a variety of baits. One bait that I really like for a spoon is the Shimano butterfly spoon. As you can see, I also change a hook. You can see how beat up this one is from getting bit quite a bit. But this is a 2-ounce spoon, but it fishes fairly light. It's really thin. It's a saltwater bait that they use in real deep water. See kind of the profile, but it has a good action in the water. Really like the Shimano butterfly spoon. Um, Works really good. This pearl white color. Also, there's a chartreuse in white that works really well. Another style of bait I like to use a lot is a bucktail. Here's one of my favorite type of bucktails. It's made by Bomber. Um, this is a ounce and a half model. Again, white and chartreuse. Pretty cool looking bait. And I add a stinger hook on the back. Again, I'll use gulp on it, but I do put like say a piece of herring or a piece of smelt on there too for bait. But this is a good subtle bait too. It doesn't work very hard, and the bucktail work in a current to kind of seal the deal for the fish. And then one of the mainstays too out here is what they call the beetle. This is a venom beetle. It's a 2-ounce size bucktail, glow with a good stinger worked into it. Um, these are the ones that incorporate pins to hold cut bait that you cut a little triangle piece of cut bait to put on here and then hook onto the rear hook to make it swim. It's basically just a swimming lure, but it has a lot of action, calls in fish from a long ways, and also the scent to seal the deal. There's a lot of different styles. There's the Mackinac, Delaski, um, and there's the Fly, and then you have the Venom Beetle as well, the Bantay as well. And but this is one of my favorites. That tail, I like working that tail when it's stopped. Usually I put a twister tail onto the back hook here, give it a little bit more action. Works works really good. The one good thing about this is that big flat surface shows up really good on electronics when you're in deep water. You got a good uh, sight picture for your Vexilar when you're in that, you know, 200 to even 300 foot range. And then to get the job done, of course, you need a rod. And here's the basic model that I use. It's 36-inch Jason Mitchell Mackinac teamed with a 5600 Abu. And I spool it with 30-pound um, braid up to just a short leader, and gets the job done really well. Handles big baits. There's also a 34-inch heavy action that I'll be using a lot this winter as well. You can pick these up at Outdoor Lure, River Rock Inn, all these baits, all the supplies you need for lake trout. It's a great time. And with that, if you guys are interested, we'll be talking more about this at Lake Trout University, I call it. It'll be February 19th and 20th here in Bayfield. I still have a few spots open, so give a call if you're interested in that. It'll be myself, Gary Parsons, um, Craig Puchat, John Marksman will all be helping out, talking about fishing and how to be safe out here on the ice, and how to locate fish, and then how to catch them. So cut your learning curve in half. So until next time, guys, have a great week and good fishing this weekend. All right, bye-bye.